We will be and all who can sing now will be able to sing at that time. You know, Brethren, while the first team was here and I started to sing, my eyes were closed. And I said, whoa, we have more singers, more people are here singing. So I look around twice and realize it's on the three. It's as if the house, like we had a big choir. I don't know if any of you experienced it. It was like so many people that were singing, and it reminded me of the verse I say, where two or three is gathered. There is what? I go again? Touching anything concerning him, he's in the midst to bless. Thank you very much, praise team. You have blessed my heart, and I'm sure you have blessed everyone else's heart. Now, as we continue to worship, it is now time for the word, time for the sermon. The last time he was here, or the last time I heard him, I got scared because I thought he was talking about a new variant when he spoke about COVID-10. I don't know what he has today, but I'm sure it is not the Omicron he's coming with. So brethren, let us welcome Brother Bailey to the podium. Brother Bailey, the people, Brother Bailey.
On the topic, get the hell out of here. The hell, okay. So we look in the Word of God, and we see from the Genesis, and Elohim created the man in his image. In the image of Elohim, he created them. Male and female, he created them. And he gave them the instruction: fill the earth and subdue it. Be fruitful and increase, and rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over all creatures on the earth. Our instruction is to be fruitful and multiply. But somehow there came another instruction. We see the people of God carrying out that instruction, that holy instruction. In Exodus 1, it says, and Joseph died, and his brothers, and all that generation, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased very much, multiplied and became very strong. The land was full of them. But a new sovereign arose over Mitsraim who didn't know Joseph. And he said to his people, see, the people of children of Israel are more and stronger than we. Come, let us act wisely towards them. Let us act shrewdly towards them, lest they increase. And it shall be when fighting befalls us, that they shall join our enemies and fight against us, and shall go up out of the land. The Israelites were simply fulfilling the creation mandate. But there we see deliberate efforts to distort Yahweh's instructions. It continues to this very day, where there are efforts to control the population, human population, and they develop things that restrict reproductive organs without our knowledge. Some with, some without knowledge. But, hallelujah, we have the Word of God today in the book of Exodus, otherwise called, well, originally known as Shemoth, which means name, because in the initial part of the book, it mentioned some names. But if I was to name this book, I'd call it Revelation, because it's about God revealing himself to mankind. So what about this deal that Pharaoh came up with? Pharaoh was in charge. He had the power. And because the people of Yah became many, became great, he recognized that Elohim wants to make much of his people. And so he restricted them. And this is the plan he came up with. Shemoth 1:16. And he said, when you deliver the Hebrew women and you see them on the bird stools, if it's a son, then you shall put him to death. But if it's a daughter, then he shall live. Elohim has a plan to protect his creation and create and protect his people. So when man a plan, God a wipe. Shemoth chapter 5, 1-2. And afterwards, Moshe and Aaron went in. Moshe and Aaron, what we know as Moses and Aaron, these were their real names, went in and said to Pharaoh, thus said Yahweh Elohim of Israel, let my people go. You better let them go so that they celebrate a festival to me in the wilderness. Elohim wants to have a bashment party in the wilderness with his people. But something is holding them back. Someone is holding them back. But when the message came to Pharaoh, Pharaoh said, who is Yahweh that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I don't know Yahweh, nor am I going to let Israel go. So the rest of my presentation today is about finding out who is this Yahweh that wants to let Israel go. Are you interested in knowing about him? Exodus 6, 2-5. Here, Elohim spoke to Moshe and said to him, I am Yahweh, and I appeared to your fathers Abraham, Yitzhak, and Jacob as El Shaddai, meaning Almighty. And by my name Yahweh was I not known to them. And I established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their sojournings, which they have sojourned. But they didn't really get the literal land. But it was promised. So, you're wondering, it's obvious that the forefathers knew Yahweh. But somehow, some promises that were made, they had a longer effect. They were to expand for their families. And so, the people, the children of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Jacob were suffering. And the message in verse 5 says, and I have heard also the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Mitsraimites are enslaving, and I have remembered my covenant. So he hears, right? But we see whom the Mitsraimites are enslaving. Who are these people? The word Mitsraim is what we call Egypt. Mitsraim. So it starts with a mem and it ends with a mem. But somehow, even though it starts and begins with the same letter, at the start, they look a little different. One of our opening. That means anybody who in there can get out. One little small opening there. Just in case you're locked in. There's an opening there. It comes from the word matzor, which means siege or enclosure. And from sur, it means to bind, siege, and confine. And so, we see these words combined to make Mitsraim. What it means? It means boundaries. It means a place of severe limitations. It means a place with constraints. A place of tight control and narrow-mindedness. A spiritually debased level place. If there are constraints there and there are boundaries there, It seems that they will be locked in. It seems that they will be in trouble. Mitsraim, they're in a place full of trouble, double trouble. Double trouble. We don't want that to be waiting. So the children were in slavery. Fortunate for us, we seem to be in a free world. If I want to jump on a bicycle, go somewhere, I can just jump on a bicycle and go there. But are you really free? Are you really free? It's a question, you know. Are you really free? Yahweh wants to release his people from Mitsraim. They were not free. In Exodus chapter 6, it says, "Say therefore to the children of Israel, I am Yahweh, and I shall bring you out from under the bondage of the Mitsrites." So that's one promise. Here he goes with promises again. "I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Mitsrites, and shall deliver you from their enslaving, and shall redeem you and with an outstretched arm and with great judgments, and shall take you as my people." What a blessed promise. "And I shall be your Elohim, and you shall know that I am your Elohim, who is bringing you out from under the burdens of the Mitsrites. And I shall bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Jacob, to give it to you as an inheritance. I am Yahweh." He wants them to take them out of Mitsraim. The place wasn't a nice place. If I want to find a better word, the place is like hell. If I have an hell experience, you come like you live in a hell. Well, these people want to get out of the hell. God heard their groanings. And Yahweh said to Moshe, "Rise early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh and said to him, Thus says Yahweh, Elohim of Hebrews, let my people go so that they may serve me." And for those who are familiar with the story, you're going to see lots of "let my people go so that they may serve me." So I might skip some of them. "For at this time, I'm sending all my plagues onto your heart and on your servants and on your people, so that you may know that there's no one like me in all the earth. I am sending all my plagues." What is this plagues? What about sending one plague? The Almighty God, one plague. You want to get your children out of a restrained boundary place. I said, us put them to sleep one afternoon and say, "Come, children of Israel, come out of Mitsraim." Just like that. Just put the Egyptians to sleep. And easy as that. But I am sending my plague, so we want to know what is this plague and where is the plague going. Look in the screen. This is where the plague is going, ultimately headed for. And it's for a reason. But let's look at what plague is. Plague is from the word magefa, which means slaughter, pestilence, strike, fatal stroke. It's something that's supposed to give them a strong blow. So, one blow should be enough. I'm thinking. But I'm seeing my plagues. I'm sending plagues. What is the purpose of the plagues? Well, there we have 10 plagues. Wow. 10 plagues for one little Pharaoh. Is so important. Why get so much? You know, the other day I decided that I don't want to eat too much food late at nights. So I decided that I'm going to skip the big heavy meal because it was late. And I'm just going to eat some healthy foods. I said, you know what? Go in the fridge, I see a cucumber, and I have that. I said, I suppose you can hold me. Anyway, half hour after I go, see 2 carrots. I see some carrots. I said, one man take one. I said, no, take 2 because you have to come. You don't want to come back again. So I take 2. Go again. I say, should I really eat this dinner? I go back again and take some lettuce. Then I go back and take some peanut. Going late up in the night, going 9 after 9 now, Then I had a tall glass of drink. And my belly full same at that time. And I'm saying to myself, this I shall have from first. If I'm hungry, all I have to do is just come drink the drinks. Because is the drinks full my belly, right? We tried the cucumber, the carrot, the lettuce, my belly wasn't full. Them never fool me. You know what full my belly? Is the drinks. Is it? To get to the point of belly full, I had to go into the fridge 4 or 5 times to get to one point. What I should have done another evening is probably just go home, skip dinner as usual, go into the fridge, take the glass of drink and drink. My belly would be full. Okay, so Yahweh wants to bring Pharaoh to a point. And he decided, there's a 10th plague. We're probably familiar with the story. Nice, pretty pictures. We learned them from when we were younger. Watch the show. Waters turned to blood, frogs, lice, flies, disease on the livestock. Boils came upon the people of Mitsraim. Hail and fire, locusts, darkness. And the death of firstborn, that is the one that really eventually caused them. Well, after this, they were released. So, I'm just thinking in my shallow mind, if God just put the death of the firstborn on Pharaoh one time, that will still bring through the result. If that was the purpose of the plagues. So it seems there may be, let us take a more mature look at this plague story that we always read. Probably tired of it. Let us take a deeper look into it and see if we can learn something from these plagues. Oh, so we have nowadays plagues too. And I am seeing some things, but I'm not seeing COVID on it. COVID not even make the list. I'm seeing overconfidence, cold-bloodedness, lack of self-worth, winning at all cost attitude, lack of compassion. That is something that's really happening. It's so prevalent in society. Self-centeredness, intelligence when I really look so right, spiritual blindness, and some persons don't know themselves. So why 10 plagues? We're going to look at the plagues, but there's a purpose for the plagues, So let us review the 10 plagues and identify the purpose. And hopefully, we can recognize some idolatrous behaviors that we should eliminate from our lives. Because it's the plagues, the constrictions, the living conditions in Mitsraim. I believe that need for freedom that the children of Israel had, we today still experience it. The need for liberation. We all have that need for liberation. We all have our constraints that's challenging us. It might not be in the ecological format of plague and hurricane and earthquake and corona, but some things that really prevent our real spiritual freedom. So I want us to also, I hope that we will realize the impotence of the false gods in our lives. And hopefully we can use the 10 plagues and make something deeper of it and understand what was the real purpose. So that it can help probably to develop our character and spiritual growth. So let's go into what the purpose of the plagues was. Here I have some thoughts. It could be to take revenge on the Egyptians. Because Pharaoh was enslaving the Israelites. For Egyptians, it could be for Egyptians to see God's hand in nature, or to force Pharaoh to free the children of Israel. To know that God does what he promises to do. Because he had promised 4 promises. Redeem them and make them his people. To make Yahweh known to the entire world. Another purpose of the plague was to convince that God is righteous and Pharaoh is wrong. Because Pharaoh was the leader and he was leading in a harsh way, or it was to strengthen Israel's trust. So, let us look at Shemoth 7:5. And the Mitsraim shall know that I am Yahweh. When I stretch out my hand on Mitsraim, and I shall bring the children of Israel out from among them. So the purpose of the plagues was that you may know that I am Yahweh. So that Pharaoh may know Yahweh. Shemoth 7:7 says, thus said Yahweh, by this you know that I am Yahweh. See, I'm striking the waters which are in the river. Oh, this is first plague already. Start already. With the rod that is in my hand, and they shall be turned to blood. So we're going to look at a few texts that really show the plagues. I might not go through all of them because we had mentioned some earlier. Here in Exodus 8:22, and in that day I shall separate the land of Goshen, which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, so that you may know that I am Yahweh in the midst of the land. So it's all so that you may know, so that you may know, so that you may know. So that is the purpose. But there's a deeper purpose too. We look at Shemoth 9:4-16. It says, for at this time I'm sending all my plagues unto your heart. So today we might not be getting the physical plagues, but there are some heart issues that we have. Heart problem, a serious problem, you know? Heart problem. Send it on your servants and on your people so that you may know that there's no one like me in all the earth. However, I let you live for this purpose, to show you my power and to make my name known in all the earth. So God's purpose must be revealed. Elohim's purpose must be revealed. So, let's come off the story for a while and let us look at the plagues. Nowadays plagues, 21st century plagues, contemporary plagues. Plagues affecting the heart. Plagues that affect our emotions. On one account of it, Yahweh said to Moshe, the heart of Pharaoh is hard. So at the start of the consultations, Pharaoh's heart is hard. And we see in Exodus 7:16, and you shall say to him, Yahweh the Elohim of the Hebrews has sent me to you, saying, let my people go, so that they serve me in the wilderness. But see, until now you have not listened to me. Let my people go. How many times we hear that already? 2 or 3? Let my people go, let my people go. So strike 1. Say to Aaron, take your rod and stretch out your hand over the waters of Mitsraim, over their streams, over their rivers, over their ponds, over all their pools of water, that they become blood. Water turn into blood. Say to Aaron. I'm thinking maybe Moses could have gotten the job to do this one, but Aaron got the job to do this. Moses' name means withdrawn from the water. So the strike was not through Moses to strike on what he was withdrawn on. But Aaron got the job for that one. This is a picture of the Nile River that turned into blood. A river with blood, that is. In Israel, I must point out that Israel had many, in Egypt, or what we call in correct name, Mitsraim, had many gods. Anything you look at, as you're walking, a matter of fact, anything that is moving, them just call it a god. Anything that can move. So for the river Nile, they had 3 gods. They have a god, and they have a goddess, they have a guardian of the Nile. Happy, Khinum, Taret, Nu, Osiris. Nice names. The Nile was very important to them. Because what? In Mitsraim, they didn't get much rain. And so because they never got much rain, the water from the Nile was for their agriculture and for their sustenance. They depended solely on the Nile. Mitsraim's source of confidence and national security was in the Nile River. The water provide for the agriculture, and the agriculture provide food for the people. So that's why they had so much confidence in it. Mitsraim's God was the Nile. So the plague of blood came all over their ponds. But here, I want to talk to us personally and directly as to a plague that's affecting you and me, the plague of overconfidence. In Isaiah 31, it says, woe to those who go down to Egypt for help, rely on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. In what we call maybe our cars today, or maybe in our assets, house and car and jobs and friends, but they don't look on the Holy One of Israel, and they don't seek Yahweh. This is a caution. Whoa! I am cautioning myself and you to don't trust in these things. Tehillim 20 verse 7 says, some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we remember the name of Yahweh or Elohim. That's where our trust should lie. Have you seen a man wise in his own eyes? There's more expectancy for a fool than for him. A caution was that plague don't reach us before it come close to us. Because it's natural. And so when we have all the things we need, not even a prayer we send up throughout the week. If we have it, we don't pray. Why would that be the case? We're confident in our own, what we have already, not recognizing from whom it comes. But here the question was posed to Job in chapter 38, verse 1. So then Yahweh answered Job out of the world and said, who is this who darkness comes by the words without knowledge? These are some questions, Now gird up your loins like a man, and I'm going to ask you some questions and you're going to answer me. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Declare if you have an understanding. You understand this? Who sets its measurements if you know? Or who stretched the line upon it? Upon what were its foundations sunk? Or who laid its cornerstone when the morning stars sang together and all the sons of Elohim shouted for joy? Or who enclosed the sea with doors when it burst forth and came from the womb? When I made the clouds its garments, and thick darkness its swaddling band, and assigned for it my law, and set bars and doors, and said, this is far of you come, but no further, and here your proud waves stop. God is in control. He can manipulate the laws of nature. He put in place to govern nature. And so that's where our confidence should lie. So let us trust in Yahweh with all our heart, and lean not on our own understanding. And in all our ways, He makes all paths straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear Yahweh and turn from evil. Because you see, for Mitsraim, the Nile represents anything that they put their confidence in instead of Elohim. And so let us avoid the Nile situation in our lives. Let's look at the plague 2. Plague of frogs. I don't know who thinks this frog is beautiful. But we read about this plague in Exodus 7:26. And what we know about frogs is that they're cold-blooded creatures. When frogs, they just multiply all over the place in cold water. Frogs don't protect their eggs. Once they lay the egg, they're gone. They don't need any parenting. They deal with one another in a cold way. And so we read about the deal with the frogs. And this frog, when I think about the frog and the cold way that they deal with one another, I also look at how we, as human beings, deal with one another. So I want us to look at dealing with the frog of cold-bloodedness. The world is such a cold world that we live in. When you listen to the news and hear the crimes that are committed, you wonder, is where in the world, not realizing say Jamaica had reached. How this reach us? Oh, man start treating man like this. No love. And so Let us follow Hebrews 13:16, where it says, do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God. We have a responsibility to the persons, our neighbors, to do good. Romans 12:13 says, imparting to the needs of the set apart ones, pursuing kindness towards strangers. Anybody has the time for that nowadays? To look out for strangers when there are so many dangers out there? We have a responsibility. We have that responsibility to look out for one another. We can't treat people just cold like that. Matthew 5:22 says, give to the one who begs from you and do not refuse the one who borrows from you. So in other words, we need to exercise some more kindness. A little more kindness in the world would go a far way. You know, sometimes how we deal with even our brothers and sisters, it's like they are strangers to us. We're not intimately connected with the concerns of our neighbors. And so what happens is that we just grow far apart. Somebody's absent from church, 1 week, you don't really consider that. 2 weeks, you don't consider that. You ask this person, I'm to this person, I'm to this person today. I don't know, I don't care. That's how the response comes out. Not necessarily like that, but based on how the response, you're not seeing any care being expressed for each other. Sad. Proverbs say, he that gives to the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse. We're called to be generous. Proverbs 19:17 says, whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay for his deed. You see, once we live this life of kindness, we are actually freeing ourselves from the Mitsraim constrictions and boundaries. There's a great reward for us. We are liberating ourselves when we are kind to others. Matthew 25:40 says, and the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it unto one of these, least of these my brethren, you have done it unto me. And it comes to me, when I treat people in a way, when I reflect on it and say, I should not have treated a person like this. I always say, this person could be Yeshua in my life, Maybe just Yeshua just come, like this person to see how I'd really deal with stranger. And many times we are caught. When we really look at how we dealt with others, if that was our Lord, if that was our Messiah, would we have treated him the same way? You come back and say, look, when I was hungry, you never feed me. When I was naked, you never clothed me. But we are content. No, we should not be content. We cannot be content in this kind of situation. But we who are strong ought to bear with the feelings of the weak and not to please ourselves. Let each one of us please his neighbor for his good, to build him up. We have a responsibility, a duty to build up our neighbors. Nowadays, if anything happens to anybody, if it's an accident, now we know it. First thing, everybody take out the phone to video it, rather than to help the person. And then it's an accident happening. I'm not a Bay, Portland. Wherever I'm in Jamaica, I get that within 8 minutes. Before the person even reach hospital, it's on social media. Circulate. We are getting more and more cold-blooded each day and don't even realize. We are talking about people who murder and say they are cold-blooded, not realizing that we are actually treating our brothers and sisters in a cold-blooded way. That plague is slowly creeping upon us and it's pushing us apart. We don't want, when I come to the assembly, I don't feel any more warmth in the assembly. And so let us be mindful of that plague, second plague. And so this is the commandment in John 15:12, that you love one another as I have loved you. And that, if you forget anything else, remember that. That one will help you in dealing with your brothers, will remind you of your responsibility, that we must love one another. We have it in us. Yahweh gives us the capacity to bond with each other despite our difference. So if a Rasta sees a priest fall or tie a punch and suppose he can stop, pull over and help same way. Whether you want to call him Babylon, suppose he can help him same way. And for us, we have some small differences and we think that's the biggest difference. And we're acting on it and separating ourselves from each other. When there are many persons who have greater differences and still are treating others with kindness. We need to do better among ourselves. Do not withdraw from others in trouble. Lend a helping hand. Reach beyond your comfort zone to help others. You will help, but you're not going to go out of your way. You're not going to go if traffic on the road. You're not going to help if traffic on the road. Not if you have to pay a toll. And you find lots of things to not reach out to your brother and help. So let us try and see if we can develop this loving attitude. Right? Let us develop that attitude to extend that to our neighbors. Let us move from controlling others to empathizing with others. There's a way to do it. You see, when persons have their issues, we say we love. But when we see the weakness that they have, the love disappears fast. Where it gone? Where the love gone? Where has it disappeared? And here we have another one. Lice over the land. Deb was the god of their god in Mitsraim. And read about that lice plague in Shemoth 8:16 to 19. And as I said, because we have 12 plagues, I'm going to be looking at what we can extract from the plagues to develop our character this time around. He says, verse 17 says, and they did so, and Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and struck the dust of the earth, and it became gnats on man and beast. This is the third plague. And what you notice about the third plague, Yahweh did not give any notice. Plague 1, plague 2, he said, let my people go, that they may serve me. And then the plague come. The plague 3, which is the lice, there was no notice, it just come. And you're going to realize a pattern in plague 4 and 5, notice given, warning given. Plague 6, no warning given. Plague 7 and 8, warning given, let my people go, or else this will happen. But plague 9, no warning. We're not going to always get warning, and so we need to sharpen up. These are directed at our hearts, our emotions. Yahweh wants to fix it. And so when we get these warnings, you can put it as an old story that you hear 20 times already or 40 times already. Or you can look at it to see if there's a deeper lesson in it for us to learn. The magicians learned something, Look at verse 18. It says, and the magicians did similarly with their magic to bring forth gnats, but they were unable. And there were gnats on man and beast. They replicated the beast, the plague of the water turning into blood. They turn a little water into blood, not a lot. But at least they can give them a beat for trying. And the frog thing too. But this one, the magicians, they could not make any plague that is smaller than a certain size. Do any magic other than a certain size. So when this one came, dust to form lice, they couldn't replicate this one. The magician then said to Pharaoh, this is the finger of Elohim. Their heart started working already, but the heart of Pharaoh was strengthened, and he didn't listen to them, as Yahweh had said. So these 3 plagues that we looked at, it's a confirmation. If it's not confirmed to Pharaoh yet, it's a confirmation to the magicians. This is the finger of God. Yahweh is real, he exists. So, Pharaoh's belly not full yet. He needs a 4th one. And the message should have reached him that Yahweh's power is unmatched. Nothing can match. There is magicians. Power can't match the power of the Elohim of the Hebrews. So lies. Dealing with the lies of diminished self-worth. You know, lies, it came from, that miracle came out through the dust. And that's how God allowed it to come. And sometimes, when we look at our lives, we don't really see ourselves in any great, valuable way. But Yahweh loves us. He values us. He wants to lift you down, up from the dust, and bring you up on a higher ground. If you look at the plagues, you're going to see plagues. The first three plagues coming from the ground. They're going to start see some plagues on higher ground. You're going to see the next last three coming from heaven. It's a little stage and process that if we study it, we can be lifted up by the knowledge of His word. And here we're reading in Kepha Aleph 5, verse 6. Humble yourself then under the mighty hand of Elohim so that He can exalt you in due time. In Proverbs 3 says, the curse of Yahweh is on the house of the wrong, but He blesses the home of the righteous. He certainly scoffs the scoffers, but gives favor to the humble. Let's humble ourselves now, so that Yahweh can draw near to us. Wise do inherit esteem, but fools are bearing away shame. So we see the plagues, and we should see the lesson in it for us. Matthew 6:26. Look at the birds of heaven. For they neither sow nor reap, nor gather into stores, yet your heavenly Father does feed them. Are you not worth more than they? I'm asking the question. Are you not worth more than they? Are you? I'm going to ask you another question. Just make sure that you're following. Matthew 10:29. Are not two sparrows sold for a cup of coin, and not one of them falls to the ground without your Father? Everything that happens, are you realizing? Everything that happens, God has control of what's going on in nature all over the world. And if the hairs of your head are all numbered, so do not fear, you are worth more than many sparrows. We are valuable to Him. And so we have to recognize that we are worth more. Psalms 139, for you possess my kidneys, you have covered me in my mother's womb. If I have give thanks to you, for I am awesomely, Asah Bailey, am awesomely and wondrously made. Wondrous are your works, and my beings know it very well. We need to remind ourselves with in the word of Elohim that He has made us in a special way. And so, because of that, we don't need to be discomforted and feel depressed, but realize that, He's making value of us. And so, we need to lift up ourselves. Let us be joyful about that knowledge. And also, share that joy with others. It says, make space for others and encourage them to find joy in their current situation. Everybody going through some rough constraints right now. And I'm not talking just financial. But that's one not always come. There are many constraints, many burdens we're going through. But we must learn to find joy in our situation. Acknowledge your qualities and strengths are not your own. He has blessed us. And so we need to use it for a higher purpose than just to satisfy our own needs. Although we're in a world where everybody is falling for themselves. Focus on Yahweh's loving kindness and compassion that He extends to the world, especially to those in covenant with Him. And let us remain humble. Let us look at the other plague now. A sharp distinction between my people and your people. In this plague, it says, thus says Yahweh, let my people go so that they may serve me. So here we see the warning again. Or if you do not let my people go, I am sending swarms of flies. Swarms of flies. And the houses of Mitsraim shall be filled with swarms of flies, and also on the ground on which they stand. And in that day I shall separate the land of Goshen in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there. so that you know that I am in the midst of the land, and I shall put a ransom between my people and your people. Tomorrow, this sign shall be. So we see deliberate provisions made for the people of Yahweh. The plague came down. But the people on this side, on Elohim's side, and those people on the Mitsraim side, got a different treatment. And so that we shall know I am Yahweh in the midst of the land. In the midst of the land means that he is there with you. Pharaoh claims that he has authority over the world, and so does the world governments today, claiming that they have authority over the world. But they are misled. Let us recognize that as people of the Most High, there must be a sharp distinction between us and others. He makes provisions to protect us and separate us. He is actively involved in the lives of his children and provides for us. He provides for us no matter what the situation, no matter what measures are implemented, or new measures that are implemented. He is there reminding us that, he provides. So, there's another plague I want to caution us from. Wild ambitions. So we want ambition to have ambition is a good thing, It's a very good thing because you can use it for the work of the people of God. It's one of the good things that we can benefit from. But sometimes when we exercise, pursue our ambitions so much, it causes us to crush and destroy others that stand in our way. And that is not a good thing. We want to get at a better position at the expense of others. But here we're reminded, if there's any encouragement in the Messiah, if any comfort of love, any fellowship of spirit, if any affection and compassion, make my joy complete by being of the same mind, having the same love, one in being and of purpose, doing none at all through selfishness or self-conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Each one of you should look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interests of others. So when we have our business meetings, and we're charting the way forward, and we have to vote, or we have to make our suggestions or recommendations for the plans, be it for the feast or any other benevolent contribution, let us think about it, not our own interest, but for the interest of others. And so we see it also emphasized in Philippians 2:3-8. For let this mind of you, which was also in Messiah, Yeshua, who being in the form of Elohim, did not regard equality with the Elohim a matter to be grasped, but emptied himself, taking the form of a servant, and came to be in the likeness of men. And having been found as a man, he humbled himself, became obedient unto death. Let each one of us please his neighbor for his good, to build him up. Not your own interest, but also consideration for the interest of others. So, I want us to free from the wild ambitions, because there can be positive ambitions, but let each one of us please his neighbor for his good, to build him up. Jacob 3:16 says, for where jealousy and self-seeking are, there is confusion and every foul deed. But wisdom from above is first clean, then peaceable, gentle, ready to obey, filled with compassion and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. Pharaoh had no care for the people. And so each time he would say, in his conversation with Moshe, all right, I'll let the people go, but on his terms and on his conditions. He gave instruction, go and slaughter your Elohim in the land. But Moses said, no, we can't offer our sacrifice. You serve cattle. We can't be killing the cattle in the land. We want to go to that special place in the wilderness. Pharaoh, only do not go very far away. Pray for me. And every time that the plagues come on, he said sorry. But that's not the point where Yahweh wants to bring him. You can say sorry and kill 2 more men tomorrow. And they say sorry. And then next week when they kill another man and say sorry. So it doesn't, you're not to say sorry because you want to stop the plagues that are affecting you. Pharaoh needed to come to the point of true repentance. And so we have to, just as Pharaoh's heart was being worked on, our heart must also be worked on. This plague is what? For if you refuse to let them go and are still holding them, see the hand of Yahweh on your livestock in the field, on the horse, on the donkey, and the camel, and the cattle, and on the sheep, a very grievous pestilence. So that grievous pestilence came. That was warning 5. That means that the 6th one, no warning is going to be given. And so, Pharaoh was affected by these things. When Pharaoh said, verse 7 says, then, Exodus 9:7 says, then Pharaoh sent and see, not even one of the livestock of Israel was dead. But the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let people go. So his heart still hardening. His heart is still hardening. So, he was okay, so he didn't care about the others. He was harming the entire Mitsraim, Egypt, in touching to his power. For us, I want to warn us against the epidemic of harming people silently. I wonder how that go. Suppose you might be here doing bad to others, but it's not being shown out in the public. It's just like the plague, the epidemic that came on the cattle. It came down and the cattle just died. But you didn't see anything just coming down on them. It was like invisible. But the cattle of the Egyptians died. Silently, it came. There's nothing that they could do. We are arming people silently. But instead, Ephesians tell us, be kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as Elohim also forgave you in Messiah. Be at peace with all men. Beloved, do not revenge yourselves, but give place to the wrath, for it has been written, vengeance is mine, that I shall repay. Sometimes we're living with our neighbors, we do some things, that affect them, They don't see. It's little thing that you might be just throwing things over your neighbor's yard when he or she's not there. Right? And we don't see that as a big thing. We're harming our neighbors silently. Instead, if your enemy hungers, feed him. If he thirsts, this is just so nice and easy to read. But let us try to make some deliberate efforts. If he thirsts, give him a drink, for in so doing he shall heap coals of fire on his head. So, friends, we have a whole heap to work on. And so, Yahweh is still working on our heart. So let us see others, see the weakness of others, but don't capitalize on it. Sometimes you see somebody and them extra kind of just make them. You take advantage of people's weaknesses. Right? Because they will not say no, you will always go to them. So in other words, we abuse others. But what we should have done is have compassion on one another. Look like I'll deal with persons with special needs. Leviticus 19:40 said, do not curse the deaf or put a stumbling block before the blind, but fear Yahweh. I am Yahweh. That's the deaf. Curse he who moves his neighbor's boundary. All them things there. Dangerous thing, Moving your neighbor's boundary. You don't know about it, You're harming your neighbor silently, Verse 24. Deuteronomy 27, verse 24. Curses he who strikes his neighbor secretly. And all the people shall say, Amen. Curses he who takes a bribe to strike an innocent being. And all the people shall say, Amen. Bribe. Long time this is going on. People taking 400,000 to kill people. 400,000 how much for? For 5? How much 14,000 can kill? How about the rate now? It's a cold world that we're in. I was in Arbiter the other day and I heard a man say, look man, if you do me that again, I can pay $1,000 to kill you. $1,000. And same time I just say, boy, I have to avoid that side. I can't go that side. Because if it's so cheap to kill a man, so this is a word that needs a lot of improvement. The plague of boils, which number is this? 6? Okay. And Yahweh said to Moses and Aaron, fill your hands with ashes from a furnace and let Moses scatter it towards the heavens. And these are plagues on a higher level now, before the eyes of Pharaoh. And it shall become fine dust in all the land. It shall cause boils that break out in sores on man and beast in the land of Mitsraim. This is a serious one. And I think it's worse than that, what we're seeing on the screen. You see, the boils is something that break out on man and beast. It's something that can spread easily. Breaking out in sores on man and beast. You know what we need to caution ourselves against? The boils now of unhealthy relationship. See, we're in some relationship, you see, that we need to avoid. There's some people we're spar with. This year you shouldn't even be sparring with them. Proverbs tell you, in chapter 13, 20. One who walks with the wise men grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. In the wrong company, you get killed. Proverbs 14, 16 says, the wise fears and turns away from evil, but a fool rushes on and is reckless. Just boil can spread like dust. You see, if dust in the yard there, and you're driving with a clean car, everybody car out there, so get dust up. Easy to spread. So stop hanging with the wrong crew. If you hang with the wrong crew, you're going to get cruel. You're going to get bitter. You're going to start get unkind. So, those relationships, take your time and think about it, that you are in. We're in some unhealthy relationships. We have some unhealthy associations. And we need to cut them off. They always have the saying, they say, do not burn a bridge. But trust me, if a bad bridge, you burn the whole of them. Don't continue with those bridges. Because they can lead to your destruction. And when it comes into your life, it's going to infect your life like a boil, And it's going to infect your family too, And the assembly too, All the people around you. And so even when you get the urge to hang with certain people and to live a certain life like your friends, resist that urge. Please, begging you. Foster relationships that do not threaten your obedience to God. Look at the relationship. It could be a business relationship, It must be man and woman. It can be a business relationship. Where you have to do certain things. Use false scales and measures. No, that's not a healthy one. You want to avoid that one. So, such is it. We need to get rid of those Mitsraim relationships. And of course, the reminder is there. For this I'm sending all my plagues unto your heart. It's still the heart being working on, and on your servants and on your people, so that you may know that there's no one like me in all the earth. So I want to look at the last 3 plagues to close. Plagues that affect the mind. The plague of hail. These last 3 plagues, they're from heaven. Hail came down. I am causing very ill, very heavy hail to rain down, such as has not been seen in Mitsraim from the day of its founding until now. And so, because of these plagues coming, I am encouraging us to set our hearts on the word of Yahweh. As it says, there is a benefit in it for those who keep their faith on Yahweh. It says in Shemoth 9:20, same Exodus, those among the servants of Pharaoh who fear the words of Yahweh, made their servants and livestock flee to the houses. So even though the plague came and killed all the cattle, those people from Mitsraim who followed Yahweh, their cattle was preserved. And so after the people were released, And you're wondering, how come 600 chariots run on the Israelites? It's these people who feared Yahweh, whose livestock was preserved. It's their own turn around that Pharaoh took away to actually go after pursue the Israelites. Verse 20, then Moses stretched out his rod toward the heavens, and Yahweh sent thunder and hail and fire. I've never seen that. Thunder and hail and fire. Hail is like ice, you know. Hail and fire. So how those two come together? Hot and cold. Well, I want to tell you, say we have some hot and cold relationships too, you know. We have some hail relationships, you know. You have some people in some relationship, they want the warmth, they want all the warmth in a relationship, you know. And when they deal with it, appear coolness, they might give you, you know, over the side, you know. So, we want to deal with the hail of selfish love. I'm saying I love you, but it's only for what them need and what them can get. You see, once that cut off, love done. And if that is love, I don't want to love no more from you. You know what I want? Compassion. Because compassion, you see, is something the person will say you don't have this to give them again. And you're broke. And the person still care for you. So in Corinthians 13:3 it says, love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, love does not boast, it's not puffed up, it's not the real one. Does not behave indecently, does not seek its own. It's not what I can get out of the relationship. It's not provoked, reconciles the evil. So my friends, the coldness, let us convert that into warmness. And you know, some people are talking about love. You know, we hear them talking a lot of time. A self-love, I do it, you know. This year, I love myself first, because if I can't love myself, I can't love anybody. Then, and the real answer, they don't intend to love nobody later. If you can't love me now, don't love me later. Them want what them can get. All they want to draw from you and then give you coldness. No matter what, you're not even get nothing from them. So, we're not going to pursue the love that's based on self-seeking and self-centeredness. Let us try to put others' needs above your needs and focus on what you can give. How hard is that? It's nice to say. You see, in a slavery, there's no way you can find this in a slavery. You can't find it nowhere in slavery. This is not possible in Mitsraim. And so we need to get out of that hell situation. We need to get out of it and start loving the real way, bonding, giving warmth to others, being compassionate to others. Let's look at locusts. Exodus 10:3 says, let my people go. Warning again. No, so this is probably 8. That they may serve me, or else if you refuse to let my people go, tomorrow I'm bringing locusts within your border. Locusts. Don't focus on no locusts. You get a warning before the locusts come. I wonder what is happening to Pharaoh's heart at this time as these things happen. Because it affects, you know. So, how do we deal with the locust-infested intellect? 2 Peter 2 says, and many shall follow their destructive ways. Pharaoh continued to do his wrong same, you know. Because of whom the way of truth shall be spoken of. And in agreed with fabricated words they shall use for gain. From of all their judgments does not linger, and their destruction does not slumber. In Titus 1 verse 10 it says, for there are many unruly men, senseless talkers and deceivers, especially those of the circumcision, whose mouths have to be stopped, who upset their entire household, persons around them, teaching what they should not teach for the sake of filthy gain. So you think you know too much? So you have a corrupt mind. When you have a corrupt mind, one of them was, it said, this witness is true, therefore rebuke them sharply in order for them to be sound in the belief. Not paying attention to Yehudi fables and commands of men who turn from the truth. Men who turn from the truth. The truth is right there in front of you. Pharaoh saw that God exists. He's real. He's powerful. He can control nature. His magicians cannot match the Elohim. of the Hebrews, but yet still in conscience sneered. Indeed, all matters are clean to the clean, but those who are defiled and unbelieving, no matter is clean, but both their mind and conscience are defiled. We here understand that thing, and we wonder how others don't understand it. Just learn to be patient with them. They profess to know Elohim, but in our works they deny him, being abominable, disobedient, and unfit for any good work. So it's just a caution that any of those come around us. We must look out for it. And also a caution to ourselves that we don't reach that stage of brightness. That as God continues to reveal himself to us, as he revealed himself to the Mitsraim, that we may recognize that revelation is progressive. And so as it comes, we never know. And there was a time when we didn't know. So now that we know, it's not like we should be better than the person who doesn't know now. Because God is working on each and every one of us heart. And all that we're going through, it is for his purpose. Not it might be. It is for his purpose. Coming down. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. This is where wisdom is. They think you're bright. All those who are doing them have a good understanding. His praise is standing forever. Job 28, and he said to man, see, the fear of Yahweh, that is wisdom. If you're bright, you fear Yahweh. And to turn from evil is understanding. So when you make that roundabout turn, 180 degrees, from the direction you're going, to get yourself constrained. Sometimes somebody tells you, say, one accident, you're going around the corner. Guess what the people them do? Run around on the corner, go look there. No! How can you go where bad things happening? My drive go and go look. No man, if them say they're saying if the fish come up out of the water until they say one shark down there. And look here, go look. Turn from evil. Turn the right way. Go to this place of safety. Don't let your intellect become so infested with locusts. This year we shouldn't be focusing on any locusts. He said the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. And the knowledge of the set apart one is understanding. As set apart people, we need to spend more time in the word of Yahweh. Second to last plague, the plague of darkness. And Moshe, Exodus 10:22, and Moshe stretched out his hand toward the heavens, and there was thick darkness in all the land of Mitsraim for 3 days. They did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days. Thick. While all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. So in that place now, over here so, dark and over years are night and over years are day. That is the great Almighty One in charge of creation. Darkness. What is this saying to us? Always hear him say somebody dark. But what does it really mean? Instead of light, we're in darkness. If we are on the Goshen side of Mitsraim, we'll be in the light. The process of creation was created with light. So we should be children of light. Pharaoh was still in the dark. Because Pharaoh is saying, and Pharaoh called Moshe and said, go serve Yahweh and only leave your flocks and herds behind. Let your little ones go with you too. Where am I now with him art? Where's this art situation now? It can't convert yet. Because I know him already. Because him want them to go, but he want to leave the children. And he said them have to come back. He wanted to come back. However, Yahweh strengthened the heart of Pharaoh and he would not let him go. Now this is a challenge I have because I'm saying, yes, Pharaoh's heart was hardened from first on his own. But as the plagues progress, we see where Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh. And when we think about free will, it had to be Pharaoh did some some great atrocities against the people of the Hebrews. And so all the male children that he killed and instructed that be killed, he had to be punished for that. So no matter what I'm saying, sorry and whatever, his heart has to remain hardened while he receives his punishment. And he said, get away from me, watch yourself and see my face no more. For the day you see my face, you die. He's still in the dark, He's still thinking that he knows what is best. But let us be like David, who says, I have more understanding than all my teachers, for your witnesses are my study. When you study the word of God, that's where your real understanding exists. That's where real wisdom exists. So, dealing with that dark intellect, let us remember that the command is a lamp and the Torah a light, and reproofs of discipline a way of life. If we want to be in the way of light, we have to follow the Torah. Psalm 119, 105 says, Your word is a lamp to my feet. Your word is a lamp to my path. I trust that our heart may be directed in the right to the light, and that we will seek to accept Yahweh as our only one and only God. Let us not reach the stage where is at the last lap, where the one is giving in Shemoth 12:12, and I shall pass through the land of Mitsraim on that night. Strike all the firstborn in the land of Mitsraim. It's the last strike, both man and beast, and all the mighty ones of Mitsraim, and I shall execute judgment. I am Yahweh. That night, he said, Yahweh struck all the firstborn in the land of Mitsraim. It must come to the stage where Pharaoh don't say, I will let you go, and then the plague back off. He's playing with God. Playing with the Almighty One. He must reach a stage where he recognizes that he's letting them go because there's a God, there's one that's higher than him, and that he's not doing it because he wants to be spared the plague, but he's doing it because he recognizes he has been hurting the Hebrews. Because he's hurting the Hebrews, they need to be released. That is the point where the heart is changed, when you realize that really, I'm not crying cree because things on me, but I'm crying cree because really, I really have done wrong. And I want to do the right. And it says, and Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Mitsraimites, and there was a great cry in Mitsraim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. Then he called for Moshe and Aaron by night and said, Arise, go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahweh as you have said. Run them out. This time he was holding them back on terms. This time he must run. Hurry up. Get out of my place. Please, hurry up. That is the stage that he must reach. And so we see the process of heart surgery performed. And Pharaoh is humbled. Tell him, take everything, take the flock, take the children, take everything, go where you want to go. Right, so we see, I'm not sure if you're going to make out this, but we see some plagues performed by Moses, the ones that, he didn't perform the water one and the earth one for reasons. But some Aaron did, and some that God himself did. We also see where Israelites were protected for some of the plagues, specially protected concerning the flies and the livestock. Their livestock, the flies didn't go on them. Their livestock was not affected. We also see where at the Passover they were protected from the destroying angel. But look at Pharaoh's heart. This is what I really would have liked to zoom in on. When the water turned to blood, his heart wasn't softened. Next time when the frog them come and go to the frog, them say, look man, Yes, I'll let them go. Then next him say, well, I know. Then him say, yes, no, no, yes, I have sinned. Heart surging is taking effect. Then when locust came and say, yes, I have sinned against the Lord. Please forgive my sin. Yes, I have sinned. The Lord is righteous. These are, you see, Pharaoh get more talk than the Torah than many other prophets, you know. So we need to study the words, the Pharaoh's utterances. We can learn something our hearts can learn. Then finally say, yes, go serve the Lord as you have said. And this kept on through all of the eye and the heart. But it came out for the purpose. So we need to get this as we close. That Yahweh controls life and death. And because he controls life and death, we must seek him for guidance. And so Elohim spoke all the words saying, I am your Yahweh who brought you out of the land of... So when they were released, the first thing Yahweh said to them, look, I am Yahweh, not the creator of heaven and earth. I am the Yahweh that brought you out of the land of Mitsraim. It's for a reason, you know. He introduced himself. He was there waiting for them. He said, I am Yahweh who brought you out of Mitsraim. Let us remember that. As we go through our Mitsraim situation, there is one in charge, only one in charge, who can take you out of those constrictions and out of those burdens. The only one that can liberate us. You have no other mighty ones. No other thing can help. So we must recognize that we're special. We're so special, we're so special, we're so special. In Peter 2 verse 9 says, you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a set apart nation, a people for possession, that you shall proclaim the praise of him who called you out of darkness, out of the dark situation, into his marvelous light. And Israel, even though I was saying that it was all for those about Egypt, we also see that Israel's trust was actually strengthened. And Israel saw the great work which Yahweh had done in Mitsraim, and the people feared him, feared Yahweh, and believed Yahweh and his servant Moshe. So that is a reminder for us. And as we try to rid those plagues from our lives, let us love the great commandment. And Yeshua said to him, you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is it. Love your neighbor as yourself. So we have a lot of work to do. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. But as Yahweh works on our heart and our mind, let us remember that he desires for us to know who he is. And it might take many more steps for us to fully understand as we get closer. Let's remember he's not just creator, but he manipulates all creation to bring forth his divine will. Mitsraim represents the world and its ungodly agenda. Israel is God's set apart people from Egypt. The first set of plagues demonstrate that God really exists. Yahweh really exists. And so, despite what is going on in our lives, our confidence must be fixed in Yahweh only. Our value comes from Yahweh only. Our ambition should seek to glorify Yahweh. Yahweh knows the intention of our heart and he sees our hidden agendas and secret actions. So when we say sorry, that's not going to mean anything. We can't fool man. We can't fool him. And so he's going to get us to that surge stage that we will surrender to him only. Our association should not threaten our relationship with God. So let us reassess our relationships and recognize that we need to order it in his word and his way. Wisdom is in God's word. So I must just say, get the hell out of Egypt. Living in hell is not a nice situation. So let us get out of that. God, Yahweh bless you all. Mm-hmm.